Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Storytime with Dr. Knows-A-Lot. This is the time where I bring us all together and I tell a good story, and it's applicable to what's about to be said. Today, we're going to hear about the story of Jacob and finding true love. It'll be an adventure, and I'm sure you'll love it. So let's begin.
Okay, so our story begins with a very upset guy named Esau. Esau was upset because his brother stole his birthright and his blessing, and that would be him. So his brother had to flee, and so he packed his stuff and split all the way from Arkansas to Afghanistan. When he got there, he meets this guy who owns a lot of land that he thinks he might be able to work for. And so he talks to him, but what really sweetens the deal is his smoking hot daughter. And so Jacob, completely taken by her, decides to go to the father and asks to work for him for 7 years for his daughter's hand in marriage. He thinks about it, and he agrees. So the 7 years begin, 7 long years, working hard with cables around his neck. And he worked, and he worked, and he worked some more. But finally, when the 7th year had arrived, Jacob prepared himself for his wedding, and his beautiful wife did as well. Wife-to-be. The ceremony began, they took hands, and they were so thrilled, but when she lifted her veil, it was the much uglier and more unattractive sister. He was terrified, the father was thrilled, and so the father said 7 more years, believe it or not. So he goes through the process again, 7 more long years of work and vacuuming pew rows and all that stuff. And finally the day approached when he took her hands. 14 years from the beginning date, and she lifted her veil, and it was the gorgeous one that he always wanted.
And that, my children, is the story of Jacob and Rachel. A beautiful story of how a man spent a decade and a half buying his true love. The moral of the story is, you can't buy women anymore. I'm talking to you, Joey. But really, the moral of the story is, true love is worth spending a lifetime pursuing. Thank you, children. Thank you, and have a beautiful evening.
We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together, and like